The Delisting of Wolf 253. When we talk about wolves, those with radio collars have numbers for names. I am just one of thousands who knew Wolf 253. As a pup, he was severely injured when his pack, the Druid Peak Pack, was attacked by the Molly Pack in a territorial skirmish in Yellowstone. The Druids repelled the Mollies, but not before 253 was left with a lifelong limp. Often in winter I have followed his tracks, 3 deep paw prints as big as my hand, and the delicate, fossil-like imprint of his left rear foot, which barely touched the snow. Older visitors to the Lamar Valley sympathized with this black wolf who struggled to get up after being bedded a long while. "Arthritis does that to you," they'd say. Yet the injury never kept him from the hunt. I watched one July morning as he chased an antelope east along the Lamar River. He ignored the pain and ran like the wind for 3/4 of a mile. The antelope, of course, was never in danger. She could run 20 miles an hour faster than a healthy wolf. One rainy evening in midsummer, when the entire Druid pack was bedded near the confluence of the Lamar River and Soda Butte Creek, I watched a boar grizzly wander too close to the sleeping wolves. 253 leapt up first and, followed by the alphas 21 and 42, charged the 400-pound bear in an effort to defend the pups against the intruder. 253 lunged at the bear many times, as did the alphas. The bear stood on its hind legs, swatting at the wolves, trying to hold its ground. After a brief scuffle, the bear hightailed it upstream to get away from the furious wolves. Like many wolves at age 2, 253 dispersed from his pack in search of a mate. Biologists lost track of him but figured, because of his limp, he would not go far. They were wrong. After many weeks, 253 was caught in a coyote trap near Morgan, Utah, hundreds of miles southwest of Lamar Valley. The decision was made to return him to Wyoming near Yellowstone. Within a few days, with 2 bad legs, he found his way north to his home pack in the Lamar, where he was accepted like the prodigal son. The last time I saw 253 was just a few summers ago, after both of the alphas had been killed. 42 was killed by the Mollies in January. 21 was found dead in June, possibly killed, like a dozen other wolves in the park, by an elk. For several years, a Leopold pack wolf, 302, had tried to join the Druids, but he was chased away every time by 21. Now that the old alpha was gone, 302 was back, and he brought his big brother, 480, to help. The 2 powerful black males pranced up the valley. From my vantage point on the hillside, I could see them through my scope. There was no hesitation on their part. However, 253 saw them long before they were aware of his presence. He was a shadowy blur to the 2 interlopers. He rolled them both over and pinned them individually on their backs. A huge dogfight ensued, the end result being a swift escape by 302 and 480, who fled with their tails tucked back toward home. Those of us who knew 253 had hoped he would remain as the new alpha of the Druids, but for reasons known only to him, he headed south for the elk refuge near Jackson Hole, where he started the Flat Creek Pack, a wild wolf in wild country. A year ago, friends went looking for him and got to see 5 of his pups, handsome blacks like their father, but 253 was nowhere to be seen. I worried about this wolf who had taught me so much. In addition to teaching me about endurance, courage, and family, he taught me how important wolves are to a healthy elk herd, how important they are to all the scavengers who share in the table they set, how critical they are to the aspen, the willow, the beaver, the songbirds, how the river and the cutthroat trout depend on the wolf. For centuries, much of this was not widely known, and wolves were exterminated. Now we know better the delicate balance on which nature depends. No part of nature is unnecessary. Much of that knowledge comes from great teachers like Wolf 253. On March 28th of this year, the Bush-Cheney Administration removed the gray wolf from the protection of the Endangered Species List and turned over their management to the states of Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. Wyoming's management plan classifies the wolf as a predator in most of the state, which allows a resident to shoot a wolf on site, anytime, for any reason. The Friday that wolves were delisted, a hunter near Daniel, Wyoming, saw a dark wolf limping along a trail. It was 253. He became one of the first wolves to be managed under the Wyoming Wolf Plan. The hunter shot him. 253 was 8 years old. I think now about the shooter. I wonder if he knows what he killed. There is the question of his parents, his town. Who taught him it was okay to kill for fun, to kill something you have no intention of eating, to kill something that is not a threat? What else in Wyoming isn't safe from his gun? Coyote, golden eagle, the red-tailed hawk soaring among the white clouds? Worse yet, what if the shooter was a parent teaching his son a lesson? The boy, let's say 10 already, has probably learned his lesson well. By example and word of mouth, hate can slither through generations. Parents are good teachers, no matter the lessons taught. One of the lessons I try to teach my children is that they are a part of nature, and to embrace nature is to embrace yourself. I think the shooter killed part of himself when he shot 253. Maybe it's the part that contains honor and respect, two things that, given a chance, 253 could have taught him.